Hi, everyone. I'm Cathay Wagantall and coming to you live this evening in response to a letter that was sent to me, copied to me by the Yorkton Chamber of Commerce. I really appreciate the work that these folks do, our Yorkton Chamber, in representing the people that serve our community in business. And they wrote a letter in regard to the canola tariffs. And of course, I've heard from our farmers as well. They're really frustrated with the lack of response. Starting on March 20th, the Chinese State Council Tariff Commission implemented a 100% tariff on Canadian canola oil and meal, as well as some other agricultural products as well. But these Chinese tariffs were retaliatory, so they were responding to Canada deciding to put the same tariffs, first of all, on Chinese EVs and batteries. So we know that that was something they did in response to the fact that China can build these EVs and batteries far cheaper than Canada can, and yet they went ahead in Ontario thinking that they were going to develop this industry significantly, and this is what they did. And so as a result, China said, okay, fine, and went ahead and hurt our agriculture industry. It is our top market for canola seed, but also a key destination for canola meal. And it is canola meal and oil exports that this tariff is on. So we're growing in the oil portion, and meal is second in importance to our canola growers. So obviously this is a big hit. And in 2024, we did very well. And obviously 2025, the world is in a mess, and the attention is on Trump and what he is doing, our U.S. trade relations. And there's been very little spoken about this issue until very recently. And I appreciate the Chamber coming out and speaking on behalf of our canola growers. In Canada, we have $6.7 billion in canola and related products that went to China in 2024. And pork as well is implicated, and it's $467 million. And, our riding of Yorkton-Malville is in a sea of canola, right across from southwestern Manitoba, right through our area into Alberta. This is a major product for our area that is being damaged by these tariffs. It's affecting investment in regional agriculture. We have local crushing plants. We have a brand new pea protein facility that's under development, and we've got hog operations as well in the Yorkton area. So there's an awful lot of investment that is at risk at this point in time, and China knows that. I say to my farmers when I had a chance to talk to them about this during the election that, they picked the absolute perfect time from their perspective to do the damage, of course, out west here in relation to the tariffs that went on in Ontario. So there's investments impacted. Our farmers, they're delaying equipment purchases. Do we go ahead with this or not? Do we wait? Do you go ahead and even seed was a big issue for them as spring hit. And then, of course, the processors as well are cutting back on shifts because we're getting, a significant amount of product. And we don't know to this point yet whether or not China's going to come through. And then, of course, rural Canada, rural jobs are being impacted. And I always say it is rural Canada that produces the GDP that our nation enjoys, whether it's in agriculture, manufacturing, mining, all of these things, our small businesses and our small communities that are around these larger investments that spring up because we have our rural workers that work in these locations. So it's really important that we pay attention to this. And on May 15th, the Yorkton Chamber sent a letter to Prime Minister Carney requesting action on the Canadian Chinese tariffs that are negatively impacting our region so significantly. And also Premier Moe, when Carney did meet with the premiers and the leaders, obviously, he made a point, too, of saying, listen, this has got to be a priority for this Liberal government. The fact that they went ahead with their plans for EVs out east, and here we are taking the brunt of the retaliatory tariffs is inappropriate, and we need to have the support of this federal government out west. Certainly at this point in time, that would be really wise on their part, realizing the feelings that are growing significantly in Saskatchewan and Alberta. They also came up with something else, and it speaks to this concern that we have on the prairies. They want an industry government task force to deal with this issue. And they want the Yorkton Chamber, the Saskatchewan Chamber, and the Agriculture Producers Association of Saskatchewan to be part of that group that are informing the federal government on what needs to be done and suggesting mitigation steps. In other words, real, true consultation with the people who are most impacted and would obviously have the best ideas of how to go ahead in dealing with this huge issue. So we want to restore stable access to our Chinese markets and protect prairie agricultural jobs. And so, stability in agriculture supports the entire regional economy for Yorkton Malvern, an awful significant amount for Saskatchewan and the prairies in general. So because we are the breadbasket of the world and we produce so much that makes a difference to Canada's productivity and GDP, it's really important that Prime Minister Carney listens to this concern from our local Yorkton Chamber and respond to them. So they're still waiting for an answer to that letter. I believe it was, did I say May 15th? Yes. So thank you to the Yorkton Chamber for the work that you're doing. Thank you to our farmers who have continued on as they do in the spite of all of this going on and not having the respect to have a response from this federal government. Even during the election would have been appropriate, right? And so I support our chamber in putting this letter out to the Prime Minister and call on him to give them an answer as soon as possible. Let's get together. Let's deal with this issue. And as he says, make Canada stronger, and restore what was a very strong economy in canola prior to the damage done by the tariffs that went against China with the EVs. Thank you so much. Have a good evening. And farmers, thank you for what you do for all of Canada.